following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome the Fef. Andrew Fefer from Bowling With The Fef on YouTube, who's been around since 2020, has had every major star on his show from the past, present, and future, and a lot of unknowns. He's a great broadcaster and a great reporter, and we can't wait to have him on the show. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
Cousin Cinco? Who the is that?
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Somebody does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. This is episode 165. We have a very special guest tonight. But before we bring everybody in, let's see who is in the chat tonight. We got Julian in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Crambone! What's up, dog?
I do.
What's up, Nico? You're so happy. Well, we're happy to have you here, Julian. What's going on, BSJ83? What up, what up? Derek Me Show. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well, brother. Welcome to the show. I had probably the best compliment I may have ever gotten for my podcasting skills while we were talking before we started. Fef ended up getting the same microphone as I have, and he said my voice sounds so good. He wanted to try to match that, and he called it audible chocolate. That's literally the nicest compliment I've ever had in my life. Valerie Shalor, what's going on, Valerie? Good evening. Good to have you here. I have to bring this guy in. I mean, I literally have to, even though I don't actually, hold on. I think his camera froze. Good. I don't have to bring him in anymore. Hey, Michael Hanlon, what's going on, brother? We got Barry Hughes in the house as well. What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm looking at Ocho's camera in the green room, and it's frozen. Well, what the hell? Let's just bring him in.
Hold
Ocho,
on.
are you here?
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
Shut up.
I hear you. I don't see you.
Just shut up. It's going. It's going to go. It's going. It's going. It's going to go. It's going. It's going.
Speaking of going, how the Yankees doing, buddy?
They won today. What are you talking about? It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. Hold
Have
on.
they won 9 out of their last 11, like their second place Boston Red Sox?
That's not responsible here. Let's not talk about that. We're not worried about that. First of all, what did you do to the camera?
You
freaking psychopath bastard.
I did nothing
what
to
did
your
you do?
I literally put you in the virtual green room. I gave you some virtual snacks, and your camera virtually shut
Come
off.
on.
Anyway, let's bring in the mayor of the name. Shut up. Let me bring in a host. Let's bring it. You figure out your own technical problems, and we'll get to Johnny. Shh. Settle down.
Bullshit.
Let the adults talk. He is the man with the name of the marquee. He is number
Bullshit,
7 in your
damn
program,
it.
number 1 of your hearts. He is, go Red Sox. That's right, Derek. He is the sexiest man in the world. Hold on, we got Alex. I can't. People are just filing in. Our favorite pro shop operator, Alex Bermudez, is from Modesto, California. What's going on, brother? Hold on, Johnny. Julian says he got 114, 113, and 73 in league. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Good job, brother.
Thanks, Rob.
Let's bring in the one and only Johnny Petraglia Jr. What's going on, JP?
What's up, guys? Well, Rob and half of Ocho.
Half
Good
of
to be
Ocho.
here.
Yeah.
Good to be here as always. Shout out to Julian. Impressive scores, buddy. Keep on working, and hopefully we get on the lanes soon enough. And I like that the Fef called your microphone audible chocolate, because every time I go back and watch our shows, I'm like, man, I need a microphone like that too. You did send me one, which unfortunately is still in Pennsylvania, but I will. I'm going to have to add to the audible chocolateness at some point.
Audible chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Smooth jazz.
I got a nice little tan on the boat this weekend. Shout out to Nick D'Ambrosio, and enjoyed a day on the water with Parker and Sydney Bone.
Oh, nice.
As well as my teammate Amanda. And it was a beautiful day out on the boat, and finally got my red face turned into something that resembles a summer tan.
That's awesome. At least you were hanging out with 3 or 4 good people. So there's that.
Oh,
All right. We have a special video from our guest, even though he's...
Yes, of course, play it, for Christ's sakes.
He's not a pro bowler, but he is a fellow broadcaster. Let's take a look at the highlights from Bowling with the Fef, his YouTube channel. Bowling with the Fef with Andrew Fefer has had great guests over the last 5 years, like the GOAT, Jason Belmonte, the current GOAT, EJ Tackett, Brianna Cote, Verity Crawley, Sean Rash, Bill O'Neill, Bob Learn, PB3, Rob Stone, and of course, the second greatest podcaster in bowling.
Ocho says 221 average also, in case you were wondering.
He's a house hack. He's also done live segments from the lanes with champs like Chris Prather, Jacob Buttriff, Andrew Anderson, Danielle McEwen, the man, Norm Duke, Anthony Simo Simonson, Kyle Troop, and Jesper Svensson. And the one and only Mrs. Fef's favorite bowler, Chris Barnes.
Talk to Mrs. Fef. You're her favorite bowler. You're her favorite.
Her favorite?
Favorite.
Yeah?
Of all time.
Wow. How'd that happen?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
It happened.
No, I'm glad there's one. I appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome to the show from Bowling with the Fef, the Fef. What's going on, Fef? Thanks for coming on, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. Looking back at that,
He's here. He's back, unfortunately.
Let's get some of this first. Here for this bullshit. Yeah. Some of this shit here.
Can I give it one of these just so you can see that, ordinary men have nothing?
Yeah, I can join.
Yeah, you can all do that. You go ahead. All right, go, Fef. Let's see it. Let's hear what's going on.
Yeah, looking back at all those wonderful guests, it makes you a little emotional. But mostly just feeling lucky that I have the chance to talk to all of them, and I lump you 3 in there. When I started this thing, I was interviewing friends, had no idea where this was going to go. And I just feel very fortunate that I'm able to do this and, strike up new friendships and just keep it going. And some people actually watch and it's great.
Well, you've been a big supporter of our show as well. And we do appreciate you being here since pretty much our inception. And again, it was a pleasure to be on your show. You're a very good interviewer and you're very smooth. and I enjoy all of your videos on your channel. What I like about your channel is something that we don't do because we try to big time everybody, but you have a lot of, I wouldn't say, well, I mean, unknowns, or at least local bowlers or bowlers that bowling geeks would know, but the general public would not know. So I appreciate that you try to bring um, attention to the lesser known bowlers that just love our sport and are just, looking for recognition. What made you decide that you wanted to not just have some of the pros on the show, but actually have amateur bowlers as well?
Well, at first, it was simply that I didn't know any pros. I didn't have the connections, and I figured, hey, this is going to be easier to go from a larger pool of guests than just to kind of narrowly focus to the pros.
No, he's not.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh,
there's a couple Ocho haters. Yeah, it's
hence the interruption too. So that's all right. That's not a question or anything.
Hey, Derek,
it's gonna happen. All right.
Yeah,
You're good.
So kind of a product of necessity, but as I kept doing it, I thought, everybody really has a story. We all love this sport, at least those of us that, I think I'm talking to here in your viewership. And I just think that there are so many untold stories out there that having that variety kind of keeps things interesting. And as well as I do that these things are great live because you get the interactive part, but most of the views come after the fact.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's cool to, to dig up, the story of someone you may not have known about, if not for, a quick interview from me or somebody else. And
what's interesting about that is everybody's story is a little bit different depending on where they are in their own bowling journey. Just to keep it simple for now, but the stories you may be hearing or the issues you may be hearing from the amateur player, although in the same wavelength as the top pros, are very different. I would assume that the amateur players like Julian was just not talking about bowling back-to-back 114, 113s. I know his next goal, he wants to shoot a 150. He's not thinking about bowling 300 yet. He's thinking about the next step. Whereas even a league bowler is going in with the mentality of, okay, if I can make a couple extra 10 pins this week and, maybe increase my average by 5-6 pins over the next 3 or 4, that's my goal. And everybody's reason, it's really, really cool to have all those different kinds of people because you get to hear the same story just differently.
Yeah. And we have so many characters in this sport. I talked with Terry Howe over the weekend in Owatonna. She's from around there. If people aren't familiar, she's the executive director of the International Bowling Pro Shop and Instructors Association. I do some videos for them on the side. And she talked about the 98% and the 2%. Well, I want to hit the 2% because I'm interested in the 2%, but you can't deny the fact that the 98% are out there, and I would hope that some of the other members of the 98% would be interested to hear what their colleagues have to say. And they may not get a chance to go on a show like this or like another one, just because, the interest is all in guys like Belmo and guys like DJ. I'm not going to turn them away, but I feel like there's a place for others that may not get that chance as well.
No, I think it's great. Again, because it brings attention to people you wouldn't normally see. And number one, it's cool for them. Like, they get to be on a show. They get to watch it back. Their friends get to watch it. Their family get to watch it. So it does them a service as well. And it's always nice to help people in the community. Like, we all love the sport of bowling. So anybody we can get on the show. And we should do more of that. We should follow suit and maybe get some of the lesser known people on there, because at the end of the day, we do care about views, but we care about the sport too. We care about entertaining people. Mm-hmm. And I don't care who it is. You can have anybody in your show and still make an entertaining episode out of it. What is the pineapple thing going on, Johnny? That's 2 people have mentioned this already.
Are you familiar with the whole Darren Tang versus videographer Jesse?
I haven't I've heard rumblings of it on Facebook through the groups, but I haven't dug into it to see what it's all about. But if you are knowledgeable of that situation, let all of our viewers know.
I'm semi-knowledgeable. I've watched both videos. Basically, the Cliff's Notes version is Darren Tang made a video that basically the title is something like "I'm done," and said that he is no longer working with Jesse, the videographer, on his YouTube videos. Went about 15 minutes or so. So Jesse puts out a YouTube video the next day with his response to Darren's video and kind of chops it up into each thought and responds to each thought. And one of the things that he brought up was he called it, they had a safe word. If it was something that one didn't want to do in a video, I'm thinking, or something like that, and it was pineapple. So if you've seen the memes that have come from that thing, that's the origin of it.
Now I know. And now, yeah, I can imagine the possibilities that are open to a safe word. That's hilarious. Chuck Ritchie. I do. Who likes pineapple? I do.
You ruined a word for us there, folks. Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, thanks for filling us in. I'm going to have to dig into that situation because,
Jesus. Why do we need
I've seen Darren's channel. I was never a fan of it. I find it mildly entertaining, but fairly boring. But it's been a couple of years since I've seen it. But really, to make light of that publicly, why? Like, it doesn't.
That's kind of the big question right now.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Why put it out there? And obviously, that's going to elicit a response from a guy that does this, right?
And all of us schmucks in the internet, the internet bowling community as well. So I mean, yeah, not too smart. Leg lock, is that Ocho's safe word?
No such thing as legs being done with me. So
hey, Fef,
use it all you want.
I got a question that's off topic of what we're talking about right now, but very much the topic, and obviously it's the urethane ban talks. I had a very nice conversation with Parker Bone this past weekend about it, which, by the way, good luck, Parker, out at the CSC. What are your thoughts on it? Because I'm enjoying getting different perspectives from different people, because to me, being a lefty, this is like the first time, I'm 40 years old, I said, if they ever did ban urethane, I would find a sponsor and I would bowl the entire tour season next year. Because I would fall in love with throwing plastic and other shit, which I love to do anyway. But I really want to know your thoughts on the discussion of banning urethane.
Well, I think for me personally, keep in mind, my history is I was kind of a speed dominant, relatively low rev player in my youth. Nowadays, I'm not quite as speed dominant, still low rev. So there really isn't much for me when it comes to urethane. I'm a right-hander. I've tried it in a couple of tournaments with sport conditions, just never really had the desired effect. So if you've ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction, and you remember the scene where Bruce Willis goes into the bar before he starts talking to Marcellus Wallace, the bartender tells him what I'm thinking about the urethane issue, and that is, my name is Paul, and this shit's between y'all. Like I said, it doesn't affect me personally. I just wonder if we're really concentrating on the thing that makes the game fair and equitable. I just feel like there's more to do with the conditions, or maybe, I don't know, the ability for every house in America to put out the same Great Wall of China. If the scores are too big, I just don't think, targeting the urethane ball is necessarily going to do anything, for the 98%, because I can't imagine why somebody would need to throw urethane on a house shot anyway. Now you get to the 2% and the PBA Tour and things like that. I think that's going to make a big impact on the lefties. Maybe a little impact on the righties, but it's like anything. they'll find a way around it.
That was kind of my thought process on it too. And then the other thing was, I started thinking about all the particulars of it, like what constitutes banning urethane. Aren't all reactive resin bowling balls urethane based?
Yeah.
Is microcell polymer from Motive considered any hint of urethane? I mean, there's all these other little tiny odds and end questions on like what really constitutes. Meanwhile, the only thing I would really see happening is you just see a lot more of the bigger high-end solid ASIMs getting scuffed up to kind of try and create the motion that urethane does. But yeah, I liked your input there because I'm actually on the exact same page as you, even though I'm a lefty and it's the go-to ball to use on pretty much any condition.
Yeah. Which
again is I understand the other side of the coin, why people get upset about it, because they do alter pattern integrity. They do alter transitions drastically different. They change lanes. I get that. But in the same respect, it's legal. It's the right hardness. It's made the same way. It's the right size. So
that's the thing, Johnny. They tried to get rid of it, with the hardness deal, and they found a way around that. And now I just feel like they're reaching for something else to try to get rid of it. Like they've always wanted to get rid of it. They just haven't had a legitimate reason to. And the post that the USBC put out after they took a survey of, what was it, like 5,000 people, Fef? I don't remember how many they said.
I don't remember the exact.
It was a very small sample size when you have 2 million members. And the way they worded it, I'll put it up here in a second so you guys can see it. I should have clipped it. But the way they worded it was very, very sketch. And even Belmo called them out, like, why did they word their response this way? Yeah. And Belmo brought up a good point in one of his posts. If you open up this can of worms and ban urethane, you're setting a precedent for any time anybody else in the USBC or Chad Murphy gets a bug up their ass that they want to ban something else, like something with a resin ball or Abralon pads or towels. Who knows? You're opening up that can of worms for everything. And I don't think that's something that should be done. You're also hurting the very companies that make bowling balls that support your sport. It's just not a good look. And
you also, like, just to feed off you, Rob, you're also taking away a tool that a lot of the youth, that's all they know. So now think about that younger, like 15, 20-year-old kid who you're going to tell them now. It was like when I got introduced to sport bowling. I got thrown into sport bowling when I was 16, 17 years old. I was a 13 and 14-year-old phenom because, I was bowling on spray and pray and just, and just happened to have a good physical game. And then it's like, oh, out of nowhere, John, you can't miss left down lane. You can't throw it. You can't go around it. You need to stay up the back. You need to alter ball motion. And I was left in the dark for a shit. It felt like 3 years. I don't want to see them repeat the same thing, knowing full well what they're going to do to an entire generation that's grown up using this exact equipment. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that, John. No, I absolutely agree with that. And again, you've been around a long time, John. You know a lot about bowling balls. What is the difference between urethane in the past and urethane now? Is it just improved polymers or whatever they put into the ball? Or, I mean, it's...
I'm no chemist, but I will tell you this: you can't make. It's very, very difficult. You have to be a very special person to make an AMF black angle corner and go through the pins like a purple hammer or a 78U. Gotcha. And I always try and tell this to people because when you go back and watch old bowling shows, when they were throwing powder blue hammers, angles, rhinos, and all that crap, you see so many top professional bowlers on all those telecasts. They're going Brooklyn. They're whiffing the head pin. There's always a match where you see 170, 160 followed by a 240, 220 game. And it's not like these guys are just not as good as today's crop. They had limited inventory in ball motion. They didn't have Abralon pads. They didn't have, all these different ways to alter the surface. You didn't have lane graphs and crap.
But you just had sandpaper.
The difference between the older urethane and the new one, at least for me, is older urethane really does just stand up and it's very difficult to get it to create down lane motion like we see out of the Black Hammers and things like that.
Now, is that actually the ball, or is it because the newer bowlers have way more revs than anybody in the past ever had? Like they've figured out how to get more revolutions on the ball as opposed to your older players. Does that make a difference at all?
You want to take this one, Fef? Because I don't know if I mean, put a urethane ball in Robert Smith's hand, and Bob Hanley's hand, and guys like that. I mean, there were a lot of guys that could hit it just now. Granted, we watching the youth now, it looks, the rev rates are
looks
up
easier.
there. But there were, you got to remember, each generation learns from the previous. Mark Roth hooked it more than anybody until he didn't, But
and that's what I was thinking of, guys like Jimmy Keith and Kelly Kaufman and Mike Miller. There were cases where they had the revs, but I think the main difference is there's a lot more oil on these lanes now than there ever was back in their day.
True.
So to see the ball do what it does now, to me, is impressive because I remember bowling on short oil and, different patterns and conditions in my youth. The one thing I keep coming back to, and I know this isn't like directly related, but maybe adjacent to it, is we're in 2025 and we're still measuring the hardness of a bowling ball the same way we did in the early 80s.
Yes.
I want to know, and I was furiously digging up an email that I sent to USBC once that poll came out. What I want to know is, where do we stand on finding a new method of finding out how hard a bowling ball is? I asked a bunch of questions. That was not one of them, but it was more to Johnny's point. What constitutes a ban? How is it enforced? Things like that. And they basically said, you know what, our social media post is what it is, and that's the only comment we have now.
Here is the post. I'll read it off for you guys that are listening on audio. Urethane Bowling Ball survey results are in. More than 20,000 members. Again, 20,000 as opposed to 1.5, 2 million people that you have bowling that are sanctioned. 20,000 members and participants shared their feedback on urethane bowling balls in USBC certified competition. The survey was conducted in phases across social media and email to segment responses by audience. Key insights: 57% of respondents favored some form of change, including a full ban, tighter specs, or restrictions in USBC national events only. Can you get any more vague than that? 39% supported no changes. Feedback was consistent across both public and tournament groups. Want to see how different segments responded? They have the link there to join. Thank you to everybody who participated. And that's why Belmo said, why did they word it like that? Like, that's word salad. Like, do you want a ban or you not want a ban? There's a full ban. Okay, no, let's not do a full ban. Let's have tighter specs. Or let's just have restrictions in national events only. Like, that post, to me, proves literally nothing. It's just a bunch of jargon.
And I can't get on board with the banning of it at USBC national events like Junior Gold and the Open Championships. You're going to ban that ball for the however many thousands of bowlers that go there once a year, and you're going to tell them that they can't throw the. We all stink at the Open Championships. You got to give some little crutch there. So I definitely don't agree that they should ban it in USBC events like that. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm not on that train.
And then you get into the crossovers with USBC and PBA with certain majors, and then you have that ball, that can of worms too, where it's not illegal in the PBA, and if you ban it in the USBC, well, then those pros can't use them for the USBC Masters. So it's a slippery slope, and I want to hear Chad Murphy literally just put a video out, tell everybody what he and the board of directors are actually thinking. Why do they think this is necessary? And they're not. They're just throwing up smoke screens, trying to nothing to see here, while they're doing whatever shenanigans behind the scenes, and we don't hear about it. There has to be a good legitimate reason other than destroying lanes or creating different transitions. That's not enough to ban a bowling ball in and of itself, and there's nothing wrong with the ball according to the hardness scale that you already went through 3 years ago when we had to deal with this bullshit. We've been talking about this since the show started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it just
like
won't go away.
Maybe there's something behind the scenes that is, prompting them to go at urethane equipment and go at it in this fashion. Maybe it's something we find out months down the road. I don't know. And maybe not.
I don't think we will find the actual. I don't think they want to tell the actual truth. And I've been saying it since the beginning. Pitch black, and especially the purple hammer, caused all this, and that's really what got a bug up their ass about it. Is the purple hammer became, one of the greatest balls of all time because of what it can do. That's just my opinion. My opinion is that they want. I don't know if they have something against an actual particular ball manufacturer, or I don't know. It's just like politics. There could be money involved. You never know what the reasoning is.
Sure.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, I will tell you one thing. In a shrinking field of members, we're below 2 million members, I believe, if my stats are correct. Urethane balls don't do much to boost sales for companies as a whole, because even if everybody that bowls, if half of them buy a urethane ball, each company is only producing 1, sometimes 2 urethane balls. So it's not really a huge cash cow. I would think that possibly there may be a little bit of insider talks about that, but then again, I still don't understand how it would help anybody at any point. I'm trying to wrap my brain around what you guys are saying right now, because I've been quiet about it up to this point, and I want to make sure that I spit what I actually mean. And I'm kind of like lost in my own brain right now, exactly where I want to go with the thought. But
get unfettered, Johnny.
Well, with less than, let's say less than 2 million, when you have that small of a pool, obviously your bigger voices are always going to be heard a little bit more loudly. Your bigger voices in the industry, right?
Sure.
So you take somebody who has been vocal about urethane since the Purple Hammer's inception when it came out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Let's go back almost 10 years.
Yeah.
First, it was the Purple Hammer. Get the durometer. This is a cheater ball because it's making everybody that is a mediocre player a great player, and everybody that's a great player an unstoppable player. Can we agree on that? Fine. Then they go to, okay, let's change the hardness now. We're going to eliminate it for this, and that. We'll change the hardness. Now you change the hardness. The guys get smart, put the pins in outer space, smack it with 360, 500 grit. They turn it right back into the 2016 Purple Hammer. Okay, now we got to worry about this. Whereas, I watched Bo Gergen get disqualified from the Senior Masters for throwing his Iowa Hawkeyes spare ball because it wasn't product registered through the PBA. And that, fine, that's a rule that I can understand, right? Product registration is a big thing when you're on tour, and obviously whatever rule that it was. But if they're going to, like you guys are saying, if they're just going to keep going and going and going with all this nonsense, and I don't know who it would benefit by getting rid of it, other than maybe those very small voices at the top, some that ain't so small, that speak their mind a little bit too much and maybe have a little more invested than other people that are actually answering what they feel should be done with the ban.
Yeah. Here's another reason why I think, there's more to this that we don't necessarily hear in the public. How many urethane balls are being produced right now, currently? Purple Hammer, Black Hammer, Pitch Black, 78U.
Right.
Can you think of any others?
I can't include any of the motive stuff.
Unless you count.
Right. The Attitude Control is discontinued. The New Blue is not urethane. The Rattler is not. I'm trying to think of it. No, I can't think of any other ones.
And and if they're only producing those 4, they're producing more if it's selling more, right?
Right. Yes.
So maybe and that was before the poll came out. So maybe there's something else here that the ball manufacturers are hip to, or think they're hip to, that's prompting them not to develop new urethane balls at this time.
And I do get that, but when you throw a governing body into it, what does it matter to them? What the ball manufacturers make or sell, or how it's hurting them? It has nothing to do with the two aren't related. They just happen to be working together, but they're not working for each other.
Yeah.
And then you throw into the PBA where it's not that big of a deal. They agreed on the hardness thing, but when it comes to a full ban of urethane, yeah, I don't hear anybody talking about that. And it's going to affect. Obviously, it'll affect the 1.5 million members, whatever, for the USBC. But most, other than nationals and your really, really good players, they're just house hacks like Ocho. What does it matter to them too if they use a urethane or not?
Yeah.
Like, what is the big? I literally want to know why. Why do they have this stuck in their craw, and why doesn't the PBA feel the same way? There's something somebody isn't telling us, and we deserve to know as bowlers, as people that love the sport, and people that are sanctioned by the USBC. If they're going to do this, Bowl X League, Bowl PBA leagues, there's plenty of other non-USBC leagues out there. Screw them. Hit them where it hurts. Hit them in their pocketbooks if they're going to be dicks about this and not tell us, and not have any full transparency.
And that USBC doesn't want to take a hit in membership. They're trying to grow membership. They don't want to take a hit at events like Junior Gold, which, I mean, I sat there at Junior Gold and watched a 15U kid from Ohio shoot 300 and 1,000 plus for 4 with a purple hammer. And he ended up winning 15U. What's going on here? Because obviously they don't want to affect entries to Junior Gold, membership in general.
They did something with, like, even with women's just last year, Rob. Wouldn't they do, like, they were doing something with the women's weren't allowed to say anything about the sport, anything about the control of it at all, even?
Yeah.
Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah,
they couldn't talk about it at all. And it was to anything. Couldn't talk about cooking. Couldn't talk about why it was hot in their apartment or anything like that.
Yes,
couldn't explain why anything.
The PWBA definitely have their own issues, and it's very, very strange. We talked to Elise Bolton about that, and she couldn't really get into it, but she agrees. Like, it's just, I don't know.
We didn't even ask her, though. We were just saying, like, hey, is there something that has to be done? And they're like, no, well, maybe, but not right now. And
that's a good point, Ouch, because adding that in with this USBC stuff, like Fef and Johnny said it too, you don't want to lose any more members. Why would you hurt? Why
would you, though?
Why would you want to hurt your base? I mean, you're going to lose more people, and then what? We're going to have more entertainment centers. You're going to have less mom and pops. You're going to have less leagues, which we already have an issue with now.
But
and you're going to lose that.
And that's where they're all going to be on one league or one thing that's really climbing what's going to happen. Actually, what would really happen is a league and a bowling alley would wind up climbing to the top of the middle of what the other standards are already at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now what? You're still underneath. You're still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do? You did nothing except for try and climb to the middle.
Yeah.
And the strangest thing about it, man, is that's what I feel like they're at is, the expression, a person is smart and people are dumb. I watch it happen in league, and I could see it happening across the entire world, actually. You will get a team of, 2 5-man teams on typical Tuesday, Wednesday night league, and somebody will put a urethane ball on the rack. And then one person says, oh, good, I'm stuck with this asshole that throws urethane in league.
That's true.
Meanwhile, the guy that's bitching averages 185, and the guy that's throwing the urethane ball thinks it's his best chance to bowl his best game. So I already don't like it. Whether you agree or not agree about throwing it on a house shot, fine. But the biggest culprits of the problem are those aggregate people that are doing it everywhere, saying it should be illegal to throw urethane on a house shot. Why? If last night in league at Majestic, where I averaged 245 this summer after 46 games, Jesus. I had to switch to my T-zone last night and went back 6 for 232 and then bowled 259 to bail out 950. I played with what the lane gave me.
Right.
I couldn't even imagine if another lefty was on my pair saying, dude, I really wish you'd throw in plastic. You're just carrying everything down lane, and now my ball's not getting the 7-pin out. Fuck you, bro. I don't care about you. care about. Sorry, my language.
No,
but
yeah.
I feel like the USBC members may be partially the problem that's pushing it through those doors that we may not know enough about, but it's creating enough buzz.
Well, I think there's enough that you know there that's what already gives you the amount that you know, which means like, okay, they're the problem, but they're also not the solution because they're not doing anything to elevate their own scoring somehow. They're trying to even it out at the well, all right, I can't say that. I shouldn't say that, but wouldn't there be someone taken off of it because of going like, hey, I can do this. I can play off of these fields.
If I bowl competitively
we
again,
can kind of simmer it out. Like
if I was bowling again, I don't give a shit what people think if I throw a purple hammer up there, or a pitch black or whatever. Like, fuck it, it's bowling, dude. Like,
I don't think some people
figure it out.
but
like,
I feel like it's still thought about.
No, it is, and I hear it all the time in Facebook groups. Like, people do get pissed in
right.
leagues when people use urethane. But God,
you don't bowl either. That's right. This guy doesn't bowl either.
He's gonna eventually, but no,
he hasn't bowled in God knows how long.
But I still know more about bowling than the chiropractor.
More about bowling in 1984 than most people do. I got it.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in terms that you've used on this show many times, I think we're going after the skinny yellow bat and not the big red
wiffle bat. Yeah.
Right.
I'm using the skinny yellow bat. Exactly.
Very good. That was good.
So, I've been of the opinion for a long time after, hearing different points of view, man, it would be interesting to see what would happen if we were restricted to the same type of bowling ball. But it'll never happen because the genie's out of the bottle, right? There's just too much money getting thrown around. And because of that, I just don't see massive change in these incredible bowling balls that we're using right now that are just, getting stronger by the chunk of 2-3 years every time. I know
Isn't it like every 6 months? Apparently, I think they're trying to. Well, they're trying to churn them out every 6 months. I think.
Sure.
But you're right though. They're probably not but 2 years or so.
Yeah, and where this hit home for me was last week. I had Mark McDowell on the show, and he was a great interview. But one of the things he mentioned, because he was the first one to throw a new line Excalibur on TV, and it did backflips on the lane, and he was out hooking everybody. And eventually, the lane man got hip to the fact that if he put more oil out, that thing would slide 60 feet. And it did. And everybody went back to throwing blue hammers and U-dots and things like that.
Yeah.
So we're not talking apples to apples here with the first reactive bowling balls compared to what we have today. They're just stronger. We're more concentrating on break point and ball reaction and matching up with lane conditions, when I hope that people would want the shot makers to be the ones who lead tournaments and win, and not just the person who can match up best with
almost the guys that would have just 4 or 5 bowling balls on their realm that keep them consistently and use them as they do, as opposed to the guy that has 45 of them that can do everything and anything, but doesn't know what each lane does and doesn't know what each one does, as opposed to, again, like you said, the first one that throws the 4 or 5 balls.
Yeah.
Fef, a couple quick things for you real quick. Yeah. Number one, for those of you that heard what he just said, go look at, it's the 1992 AC Delco, where Mark McDowell is throwing the Excalibur. And just look at the motion it makes for those few games that he's on that show compared to every motion you had seen prior to that show. That's the separation that Fef is talking about.
It's wild.
In relation, like for me, Fef, I remember this like it was yesterday. I drove out to Vegas with my father for when it was still called the True Amateur Challenge, and Brunswick hosted the mini eliminator at the Orleans. It was right when the Inferno came out, the original Inferno. And I remember throwing that Inferno and saying, I've never seen a bowling ball do this before. It was shocking to me. That's the shock that I could relate the Mark McDowell Excalibur show of 92. But Rob, you had put up a question from JG that I wanted Fef's points on. Jay, thanks for the question. And earlier I had made mention that they're still using pads to trick out the higher hardness urethanes. Right. But I didn't actually talk about this at all. So what do you think about this question, Fef?
That's a good point. It would be interesting to see the impact. I mean, I can't recall using anything below 1,000 grit. But again, it's not apples to oranges. I'm not on the PBA tour. I'm not even taking a crack at a regional. So it's not really my circus or my monkeys.
I can tell you, I've used them. I've used them legit 350.
Like the old Quantums used to come out at 800 to teal rhinos.
Oh gosh!
And I would legit work a 350 to do that, something like that, thinking I'm supposed to do that, going like, oh, I didn't know I needed 1,000, and I'm using 350, and it's working great. I'm 3 boards or 4 boards left of where I am for the first 4 weeks. Right. But then I get to move back to the right as I slowly throw the ball, and I'm an amateur throwing it. But as you would throw it again, speak to you. But I'm just sending you my my well wishes to the fam as we speak.
And you're throwing an egg after a while too, right?
Well, pretty much. And they're eggs for a long reason too. They're 4 eggs, and they're from 2008, 2006, and 2012.
But for real, though, with this question, you know what they would do? The manufacturers would just start finishing the balls at 360 or 500.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it would come looking shitty, but you could at least,
one way.
I wonder what mine look like now. Mine are probably 14 pounds only. That's the thing. They probably only are.
William Oates says the OG Beast was factory surface 220 grit.
That's what I'm talking about. When they would come and you would just see the white dust and the lines from the ball spinner.
I also thought like that's what the old hammers would do that too.
The old
hammers would have the grit in the ball almost.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, Will was part of an Eagle winning team out of the Milwaukee area, so congratulations.
Oh, congrats, Mr. Welch.
Bowlers headquarters.
Excellent.
Speaking of which, that's your stomping grounds. You have got to interview a lot of stars that we saw in your little preview video at the lanes. How do you obtain a press pass? Because that's something I'm actually interested in doing when they come to Smyrna, Tennessee.
Honestly, I think it's kind of out of my control. I think.
Okay.
I send the email to whatever email address is on the news release. I say, hey, looking to cover this event and do this, and this. How do I go about obtaining a credential? And I've been successful for the most part. I can't remember being turned down. And I'm trying to think I can kind of give you a list of the professional events I've gone to. I've gone to 2 of the World Series of Bowling, the 2 that were in Wauwatosa. I've been to a few PWBA national tournaments because Cedar Vale Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota is about an hour and a half for me. And it's also owned by a former high school teammate of mine. So I've been to some over there. And then recently I went to the finals of the Anniversary Open. Now that was kind of interesting. I don't know if you got a chance to see my interview with Josie Barnes after the fact, but I mentioned that USBC made me agree to only take still photos during the telecast. And they said that was to protect their broadcast partner, which was CBS Sports Network. So if you look in that video, there are still pictures of the ladies leaving the splits and losing to Barnes, and Barnes with her arms in the air and swinging her daughter around after the win, because that was the criteria that I was held to.
Was that because the show was not coming on till like 2 weeks later or something? Was it something?
It was live. It was live.
No kids. So they wouldn't. Okay, I'm not following this one here.
Yeah,
back in the day, they would tape a lot.
Mm-hmm. And they still do. They had
No,
two.
I just figured there was something they didn't want the SERP to get to the lane before the whatever the fuck I'm saying. Either way.
But that's like WWE coming and saying you can't use your phone to record somebody's entrance at WrestleMania because it's on Peacock or whatever. Like who could nobody cares.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense to me. That's what I'm not really. So that's why if they gave you something, then tell me why.
Okay. And that's fine. The thing that I've been constantly thinking about with this is, okay, you want to protect your broadcast partner. I understand. You're going to have your own people shooting video because you're the USBC. It's your tour. You're going to have ball manufacturers and sponsors shooting video because they're partnered. That's fine.
Or do it 2 days later then. Okay, that's fine. I'll do it 2 days later. That's fine. Do something.
Yeah, but if I can't shoot video, where is the announcement over the loudspeaker that
says what we're bowling with?
Yes, 6,500 people in attendance.
Yep,
cannot shoot video.
That's a good point.
That was my
the notification on the scoreboard that people in the crowd cannot shoot video.
That's a great point.
It
was you, Fef. They just don't like you.
Hey, I'm a little confused by it, but whatever. I mean, it's their turf. I'm there to be a good soldier and cover it as best I can. But you got to know that I'm going to mention that at the top because people are going to think it's weird that they're seeing still photos, and that's why.
Yeah, I don't understand with what you just said, simply because I would assume I could go watch on TikTok in basically live time of the exact same thing that they're telling you not to do.
Right.
Not to mention it was a live broadcast with one of the largest PBA crowds ever, and certainly I believe for the ladies ever.
And they said that was their policy in events in finals that are telecasted. And I wouldn't really know. The other PWBA events that I've gone to, the finals were all on Bowl TV. I was able to shoot video of those finals without a problem. But I hadn't been to one on live TV before, so I didn't really have anything to compare it to. Yeah, and there, Bowling with Dial, I totally get. Yeah, can't go live because, again, preserving that protection for the broadcast partner.
That I get, but what we used to call live to tape or tape delay. I mean, you shouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I understand not going on YouTube Live or Facebook Live or Twitch or whatever. But how are they going to monitor people in the crowd as well? You can't stop somebody from taking out a cell phone and recording a video. That's I don't know. Again, they're just trying to do whatever they can to upset their base when they should be promoting it more. They should be. Hell,
this is it. This is the
we want people on TikTok. We want people on Instagram. We want people making reels about bowling, about the USBC and PBA, because the freaking bowlers don't do it themselves. They're so lazy.
See, BSJ83 has the comment of the night right there.
Somebody USBC must be a Bears fan. What are they doing, Johnny? Like, why would you not want people like Fef to support your sport and get it out there with a different set of eyes?
Look, I can't tell you because I've never been in that world before. I've never been in television in any.
Well, he's been in fucking 2-3 years, 4 years now.
If they're telling you that it goes against something with CBS Sports or whatever news station it was, maybe I don't know, because they're such a big tycoon, they're going to try and sue you for I don't know. Maybe they're trying to do it for their protection as much as your own. If I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's going to be very, very hard to keep telling people to not do what's kind of the new norm now, which is always it's one of the things that drives my father crazy is that every time I talk to him, he goes, "By the way, did you see what happened in the Little League World Series game today?" And then he starts telling me about it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I was at work today, but I still saw it when I was scrolling through my phone."
Sure.
And I almost feel bad about it, but the world is in real time now.
Yeah, and USBC is also devoting resources, devoting money, right, to creating their own content for social media and YouTube and things like that. So if the tables are turned and I have the chance, I have all the power to create the content and I have the opportunity to tell them no. Yeah, if they see me as competition, sure, I'll tell them no. So I get it. I don't like it, but again, we can't. I agreed I would not shoot video, and I didn't shoot video.
But Fef, even as a broadcaster and a YouTuber yourself, the rules about fair use. There is a certain amount of footage you can use without being hit for copyright.
I'll tell you what, I am very, very, what's the word? Conservative when it comes to using video and images that I did not shoot. I just don't do it. And
it's a very, very good quality. I wish more people did it, exercised it.
And that stems from my history in television. I'm not going to say I've never done it.
Right.
Obviously, Rob, you're like I am. We like to have images of our guests on the thumbnail.
Sure.
So you've got to ask permission, and you've got to, ask if they'd provide that, and try as much as you can to be transparent about where these images and video came from.
Right.
But when it comes down to just rolling out highlights of something that CBS or Fox or anything like that produced, it's just not worth it to me. It's not worth the potential headaches, potential lawsuits. Let's just call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
There are people and entities out there whose only function is to scrub the internet for copyright protected video and audio.
Yep.
And they'll send you an email saying, hey, you violated the copyright of my client. You must pay us $5,000 or this could get ugly. And it's not really worth it to be in that situation for me.
Certainly not.
That's fair. Well, I guess I'm a maverick. I don't care. I do whatever I want. Because there are fair use laws that you can use a certain amount
They're mild
of time.
fair use laws too, though. Let's be honest here.
That's true.
They're mild.
It's true.
To where they'll let you get away with a lot more than they should.
Well, especially the PBA. PBA.
That's the truth, though. That's what you are right, because
it depends on the company.
It's any other sport, and they're like, it's all right. It's a minute. They only get 35 seconds. They're fine with it. You do it against the PBA, and they're like 36 seconds. Holy shit, we have a problem.
Yeah. And the other thing is, as someone who loves creating that content and wants to do it in the future, I need the access from the PBA. I need the access from the USBC. And it's probably not going to put me in a good light if I'm in some kind of crazy legal battle over a highlight of, of Verity Crawley throwing a strike.
Yeah.
When it just didn't have to be that way,
I get it. No, I absolutely see both sides.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough world that we live in as far as that's concerned. It's gotten tougher over the years. I think my TV background is really, I really cling to that. And I know in the description you called me a journalist, and I really appreciate that. I don't know that my show and what I do is necessarily journalism. Maybe half journalism, but I throw some opinion out there. I don't mind two-handed bowling. I don't mind bowling on string pins. Perfect world, yeah, I'd stick with free fall, but I've bowled on sanctioned string pins a couple times, and I kind of enjoy the challenge. That kind of thing might be taboo to say if you're truly an unbiased bowling journalist. But yeah, there are a few things that I'll let slip out there, but
I think it's also a certain level of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
It's your, because I feel the same way. I don't care if you're throwing urethane. I don't care if I like to talk about different views, but I like the challenge of the strings also. So you love the sport. If you love the sport, you mold with the sport. And at the end of the day, whatever they do, whether it's banning this or banning that or yada, 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 everybody that still loves the sport will continue to bowl.
Yeah.
It's just
or die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Walter Ray Williams Jr., I'm pretty sure, when he won Player of the Year in 1986, didn't think he would be learning and bowling with two hands on the senior tour once in a while at 60.
And throw a 300.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you evolve or die, and that's it. You either move with the times or you live in the glory days, like the boss said.
Yeah. So, Fef, I'm interested in your television background. Can you give a little bit of your history in that field? Because I love broadcasting. I love videography. I'm a huge tech nerd. So.
Yeah. So I was one of those college kids that didn't really know what he wanted to do with his life. My dad was a business finance major in college. So college comes, I don't know what I want to do. I guess I'll be a business finance major. And that bit me in the butt a semester in. So I knew I had to make a change, but I didn't really know what I wanted it to be. And I got picked to be on this radio show at a classic rock station in Milwaukee. And that experience really changed me. I thought, wow, this is something I could do as a career, but I wanted to be a little more, I don't know. I just didn't want to be a radio DJ. I wanted to be, something with a little more meat to it. I wanted to be a radio news guy. And in order to get through the broadcast journalism major at UW Milwaukee, you have to take a TV class. And I, was in with a great instructor who ran that TV class and the TV program there and did an internship at the NBC affiliate. And I just fell in love. So this is 2001 when I graduated. And what do? You record a ton of VHS tapes and you send them to every single TV station in a, whatever radius, in my case, in the country, really. And you don't hear from 99.9% of them. But I was lucky enough to catch on in Wausau, Wisconsin, which is about an hour and a half from where I am now. And it's a tiny market, and the CBS station there needed a photojournalist, a videographer. So I took that. I did my own stories on my days off, and about maybe 5 or so months in, not even 5, 4 months in, got moved up to reporting, which was kind of the dream, right?
Right.
And I got moved up to it on a Thursday, and the following Tuesday was September 11th.
Shit.
So talk about
Johnny's birthday, by the way.
Johnny's birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday, Johnny.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Johnny. Talk about trial by fire, right? But,
yeah, seriously.
You're moving on up in the world. I'm getting my driver's license, and it's the worst day in history.
Pretty much.
Trifecta.
You keep on keeping on, and just keep going for it. So after a few years there, I realized I was kind of doing a bunch of things good, but nothing really great, and I wanted to, pineapple. I wanted to kind of hone my skills on something, news, sports, video, whatever. So I came here to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and anchored the weekends for 2.5 years. Moved up to the ABC in Green Bay and found that position, it was a producer and assignment desk position, wasn't really what I had anticipated it to be. So I came back here and kind of started from zero, right? They hired me back as a photojournalist, videographer, and I moved my way up to anchor, and I did the mornings for a couple of years, and then I went back to regular days and reported, and then I had
How early was mornings, real quick? How early was the morning there? Was it like at 6 a.m. or was it?
We started at 5.
5, okay.
Now the show starts at 4:30.
So you're in the studio and you're dressed and you're ready to go with hammers on. Well, let's say it's 5 now.
Yep.
But 4:30 now, but 5 when you were going.
Yep.
And your anchor's away, right? Like you're
woke up at about 2 a.m., got in, around 3.
Got it.
And rifled through scripts and tried to get as close as I could to being comfortable with the material, and then going out there and reading it hot and fresh for the viewers. But then I had a news director that wanted me as an assistant news director and promoted me into management. I eventually became news director. This is all at the NBC in Eau Claire, Wisconsin here, and did that for 2.5 years. And then ended up leaving. I had a former coworker from that station who became marketing director at an HMO here, and she was looking for a social media marketer to do what she had done before she got promoted, and got into that. Unbeknownst to me, they wanted in-house video production. So I started learning how to be a video marketer, and did that for about 6.5 years. And now I own a video production business. It's just me. I do all the stuff myself, the shooting, the editing, all that good stuff. I work part-time for a nonprofit in town who wants social media and video production, and I do Bowling with the Fef.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm jealous. I would have loved to have those opportunities. That's really cool that you got to be just start off, as a videographer and worked your way up to be on-air talent, and then got to do that. I mean, that's badass.
Yeah.
I wanted to say is, it seems it's just like anything else. You love something so much, you figure out ways to do it. Because if you didn't love it, I don't know if you'd have kept on moving here, moving there, coming back. You stick with what you love, and your consistency is why you are where you are, and your grind. And that's what we always preach on this show. We always try and say, whatever you do, as long as you do it consistently and with passion and a reason that makes you happy. And yeah, so to me, I think he just said 99.9% of the people didn't call. So for me, it was more the consistency and your actions that made you find what you love to do, which I found to be the coolest part of the story.
Sure. But then you get there, right? And you make no money.
Mm-hmm.
The money in small market TV is just less than you could ever believe.
Wow.
But that weeds out the people that don't want to do it for the right reasons.
That's
true. The hard work, the crazy hours, the low pay weeds out the people who just want to be on TV.
100%.
But it also is great to put on your resume as well. I mean, especially if you got to go to a bigger affiliate or ESPN or who knows what. But and you have your own video production, which is fantastic. Like I'm a video nerd. I love your presentation for your show and your production. It's your intros and opens are very, very
What is it
good.
again? What let's you show it on here. Let's put it up on the screen here, Rob. We have it.
We have what? Oh,
Don't we have it? Come on, put it up. His screen name. Come on.
It's right there. It's Bowling with the Fef
Where
on
is it?
YouTube. It's literally the name underneath his.
I can
Everybody
barely
knows
see
who it
that.
is.
Holy Christ! Hold on.
Take off your mask then.
You're gonna make me type.
What?
But it's really cool to me how these past experiences have kind of fed in to the current ones. I never got to talk about bowling in my TV jobs. Always wanted to, and took every opportunity to when in the rare times when the opportunity was there. But now I feel like I've got this this open opportunity to really tell the stories of bowling the way I want to tell them. I've had the opportunities to go back to Wausau and cover junior gold. While I was there, I interviewed a guy at the house I used to bowl at that had a fire in February and just reopened this month, or it was July. So that month.
Wow.
And I just feel like I never would have been able to do those things, certainly not in the form that I did, because I spent a lot of time on that house with the fire. But on TV, 30 seconds, let's get it over with. Minute and a half, let's get it over with. On to the next, because you want to keep the story count high to give the viewer a variety of stories. There's a lot going on in each viewing area, and the one in Wausau went up to the Michigan border and down to about maybe an hour north of Madison. And it was a huge area. So there's, the bowling center that had the fire is a small part of, the news content in one day.
Small world, big world all at once, just
Yep.
like beautiful sport. What else you got from Mr. Fef?
We're a little over an hour and 10 minutes, so we're probably going to wrap it up here, Fef. I am wondering, how did you get Rob Stone? I have been trying to get him for a year now. We might have to talk off air. I mean, you don't want to give your sources, but he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, I caught a good break on that one because, like I said, I was at the World Series of Bowling, and I was at the finals of an event that he was the play-by-play, the announcer guy that was calling the action in the thing that I was covering. So afterwards, I just went up to him and hit him up. Said, "Hey,
Good for you.
I do this show. Would you come on?" And he said, "You know what? Yeah, we'll work it out. Here's my info, and
that's awesome.
Let's work it out." And it took a while, but we did.
It was a great show. It really was.
Thank you. And the following year, I wanted to grab Randy, and I went up to him. He was there. "Hey, can we do a little recorded thing? I know you just got off the set, but this will only take about 10 minutes or so." And God love him, he went back into the media area and talked to me for 10 minutes. And, I had interviewed Ernie Schlegel, and I played back what Ernie said about the "I'm the greatest" Muhammad Ali celebration and had him react to it. And I'm glad I did, not because I wanted to, put him in a corner or anything, but he doesn't really talk about it that much anymore. It seems like he's kind of shied away from that conversation, even though it's taken on a life. I mean, how many years ago was that? And we're still talking about it, almost 30 years ago.
True.
So yeah, I'm glad that worked out. And a lot of these things are just, happy coincidences. We were on a family vacation where we took a road trip to like Cincinnati and Ohio, and we stayed our first night in Indianapolis. And we wake up in the morning, and I'm scrolling Facebook, and I realize that the Storm Youth Championships is at Royal Pin Woodland, and I'm sitting there like 15 minutes away. So I said, "Hey, Mrs. Fef, hey, Carson, we're going to go to the bowling center." Yeah. And we went to the bowling center, and who's there but Chris Vi? And, oh gosh, I can see his face. It's not Hank Boomershine. It is Gary Hulsenberg. They're both there, right? So I hit them both up. "Hey, I got this show. Want to come on?" And they both did. In fact, Hulsenberg was scheduled to go the night, I think it was the night after the announcement came that Bill Chrisman had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And, we rescheduled. He didn't say it was because of that. He said it was because of something else. We'll never know. But, all credit to him. He came on that Saturday morning, and he talked about Bill and, his contributions to the game and what he meant to him personally. And it was incredible. It was incredible. Those are the things that make this not feel like work.
True.
It is a lot of work to set up a live stream at a tournament and know that you're not going to have the same presentation as Philip Rilo or Emil Williams or Bowl TV. But you know what? I can also do it in an area that they might not get to for a price that they might feel it's unfair to charge. There's a market for it, and it's not something that everybody wants to do or take the time for or get the gear for, but it's what I do, and I like to do it.
I love it too. I never would have thought, watching these guys on TV 30 years ago on ABC, that one day I'd be able to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like heroes that I grew. It's like, it still blows my mind that I sat in a car with, I ate barbecue with Parker Bone III, and then sat in a car for 45 minutes and cut an interview with him. Like, that still blows my mind. Like, it's the things that we're able.
Mine too, Rob. Don't worry.
Shut up.
Well, everybody else's mind is the fact that Parker probably eats more than you.
It's true. It's true. I mean, look at that. We had a great time. I mean,
awesome.
Look at that.
Like he's trying to get out of there from you.
He's like, I don't know if this guy's gonna eat me or not.
Out of here.
He's like,
So I gotta tell you with Parker, and I mentioned this when I had him on. Parker did an exhibition in Marshfield, Wisconsin, in the fall of 2003, and I was doing sports for the local TV station. So I arranged it with the center owner. I was going to bowl against Parker and do a story on it. And I get down there and I'm nervous as all get out. And I don't know if I even cracked 190. Parker leaves 2 ring 7s and goes off the sheet for 258 and didn't even, break a sweat. And the smooth arm swing, the perfect ball motion, the pinpoint accuracy, it was all there. It was amazing. And then to top things off, he had me sit down in a chair like 50 feet down the lane, went back to the approach, threw the ball, it split the legs and split the 8-9 and struck.
Yep. He is a magician.
Yeah.
He is a magician. He really is.
One of the nicest guys you will ever want to
Literally the nicest guy ever.
Could have won 50-something titles, actually.
Could have.
I mean, if really bowling was above 300 pins, because that's what everybody. The only reason he lost is because people bowled 280, 270, 265.
Remember that stretch he hit where it was he's officially the biggest loser ever in arena finals with like
2002 to 2004 somewhere.
He's lost like 13 matches in the arena, averaging over 240. It's something.
Oh my god,
stupid!
That's sick.
Crazy like that.
That's disgusting.
And yet he still got 37 title wins or something. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I mean, when he's done, he may win for another 5 years on the senior tour.
Sure. True.
When I watch him bowl league, dude, nothing. You know what? Him and my dad both had. Dad's 78 now. His game's finally going away. But my dad was pretty solid up until about. I think he said he started to lose it a little bit around 68. And then he always said to me, everybody's got a number where they can't play the game anymore the way they used to. But I mean, I kind of see Parker winning when he's 70. Is that crazy? Just based off the way he throws it now.
The way he throws it now, and it's the same way he's always done it. It's maybe, yeah. I mean, he literally looks the same now as he did 20 years ago.
He's 62 now?
Yeah.
And he's still crushing it?
He's had a great year this year. Yeah.
And I'm only saying this right now just because I'm starting to look at longevity a little bit more now. The man don't drink booze, guys.
No.
He don't drink any booze.
True.
Nothing. And he's always doing something, whether it's flying to see one of his kids at school or do an appearance here or going to Japan or carrying pitchers of water to rev rates for the birthday party. The guy never ever stops moving. He's so task oriented and he's so carefree and easygoing, but committed to every single thing that he does. And he's always the first person there when you need help.
Yeah.
I
know we've seen, participation in this sport decline, and we deal with weird technology things and all that in bowling. But how lucky are we to have ambassadors for this sport like Parker, like Norm Duke, like Mark McDowell, like basically everybody I have talked to on the show. I can't tell you a name of somebody that I've talked to in more than 200 episodes that I'm like, that person kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah,
that's true.
Everybody we've had on here, we say the same thing every time.
Yeah. And we always leave with so much more knowledge, and you learn so much, and everybody brings something different to the table. And
like we thought Barnesy was going to be a jerk, because we've heard his reputation, and maybe when he was younger he might have been, because he's a top guy, right? Like you have to have that you got to have that extra gear, you got to have that edge.
Yeah.
You have to be ultra competitive. But when we had him on, man, I don't think I've ever seen him break character like that. Like he
genuinely enjoyed himself, and he made me. I've always gotten along with Chris, but I really, really, really enjoyed talking to him that day more than I had ever had previously. Yeah. Because once you got past that rugged toughness that made him one of the greatest bowlers to ever live, he really is a big kid at heart. And
you broke him down finally. That's what it was. He was basically an easy guy to talk to. And he just chilled out. He just chilled out with us. And we actually had him as JJ's roommate the one time
Yeah,
JJ
JJ was there in the room.
So he was like, I'm just in the background.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. You know,
laying on the bed while Barnesy's interviewing. Yeah,
so you guys take care of the guy on the cream shot here. I'm here. I'm just sitting in the background. Don't worry about me.
Guys, I need to interject here real quick. I know this is moderately gross, but you'll understand if you have a dog. She just let one go that is, I can taste it.
Okay.
Okay? I need to get her out to for a walk because I'm stuck in here, and it's yeah.
But before you go, Johnny, I do want to mention that I certainly count your dad in that conversation too. I had a short phone call with him when I had Jessica Abel on the show, the director of BVL, and I, got to him through a mutual friend, and we talked about Jessica a little bit. I mean, it was a wonderful conversation, and like I said, it was short, but Johnny Petraglia is just a giant in this game, and it was so refreshing to to talk to him and know that, hey, not only is he an incredible bowler and an all-timer, but a great human being as well.
Well, thank you for that. Dad's idol growing up was Dick Weber and Don Carter, and he always wanted to model himself off of the professionalism that those two exerted. So hearing you say that in his mind will tell him I did it right then, because that's all he ever wanted was to represent the sport that gave him livelihood.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Very, very
He's totally done it right. So tell him kudos.
Real quick, Fef, as we'll wrap it up here because Johnny's got to go. 3 of your favorite interviews, just off the top of your head. Okay, if you got to go, John, you can leave. But yeah,
you're gonna do this to me. I gotta pick 3 and make it a bunch of others that didn't make the cut.
Well, no, I mean just all right. Maybe that is kind of putting. Yeah, I do.
Tell you 3 of your favorites.
Yeah,
3 of your favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, recency bias, right? I just interviewed Mark McDowell last week. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And he is originally from Madison, which is, as far as Wisconsin is concerned and relative to the town I live in, a pretty big city, right? During the pandemic, he moved up to Black River Falls, which is about maybe 2,500, 3,000 people. And he's bowling at a center in Neilsville, which is about 2,500 people. And I went to that center to conduct that interview. Oh my gosh, these people are just over the moon about the fact that they've got a former leading money winner on tour, a 5-time tour champion, bowling league with them, on Wednesday nights. And he's such a nice guy. He's in that same mold of Parker Bone and the others. And again, refreshing to know. So because of recency bias, and I've been thinking about that conversation ever since, I'll put him up there. I convinced my son to come on. That was, maybe a couple of years ago now. And it was a short conversation, but that's the beauty of YouTube. You're not trying to fill a specific amount of time. You can have the freedom to make it 20 minutes or 5 hours, whatever you prefer. So it was cool for me as a dad to have him on and talk bowling with him. And then I guess I got to go back to the first one because that was the one where I kind of stuck my neck out. Didn't know where this was going, and just kind of lurched out into the ether and tried to find an audience in bowling. And it was 2 guys. Their names are Sam Lofquist and Paul Bouch. At the time, they were running a Facebook group called Bargain Bin Bowling Memes, but they've since quit doing that, but they still both bowl locally. They're from right here in this area. But yeah, that was kind of the first. So I'll go with those 3. And just know that all the other ones I appreciate too for various reasons. And
yeah, I didn't think about that when I asked the question. Like, oh man, Bob Learn Jr. is gonna be really pissed that you put him up the top. But no, I get it. No,
but to get him and to get Belmo and to get
that's amazing. Yeah, you've had the who's who, and you've been very fortunate to have a 5-year success. With over 2,600, 2,800 subscribers. and world-class production. Again, I truly enjoy your work, not just as a broadcaster, but as a videographer and a production guy. So it's good stuff. So again, let me put that up on the screen because Ocho's a dick and he makes me do things. Subscribe to Bowling with the Fef on YouTube. It's a very, very good channel. I always try to promote other bowling channels because we don't care who's better than who. We all love bowling. We all try to support each other. Whether it's Fef
can I ask you a question before we get out of here?
Sure.
And I know somebody wanted me to go off the sheet with him, but
yes,
this is more important. I want to know how defeated you're going to feel when Aaron Rodgers leads you to an 8-9 record and the Steelers aren't in the playoffs.
He's going to be fine because
at least he's not doing it for my Jets.
It won't happen because their backup will come in and they'll take over anyways.
Oh, okay.
Very easy.
That's a
backup comes in. He's gonna what's he gonna do? Probably 4 wins out of them. So
can't be worse than the Giants.
Now they're 10-7 during the playoffs.
Johnny, you talk about the Jets, but the Giants, man.
I'm talking about the Steelers. The Steelers would.
At least Aaron Rodgers ain't on the Jets anymore. We actually got somebody I have faith in this year now.
Russell Wilson went to the Giants, so he's not going to do much better than he did in Pittsburgh.
That's the thing. They got the scummy guy from the Steelers that's on the Jets now.
Yeah. Well, either way.
Well, we appreciate you.
Cowboys don't win, I'm fine.
Yeah. Nope. We appreciate you having you on, Fef. I know it's short notice, but again, it's not that we didn't. You weren't like a plan B. I literally, you can ask Johnny. I don't ask people till usually a couple days before because I've been burnt for years by so many people booking ahead of time.
Sure.
They end up canceling for whatever reason. So honestly, I usually only like I give people like 2 days notice. But I do appreciate you coming on because again, I love your channel and returning the favor of you having me on your show. But other than your YouTube channel, do you have anything else you want to promote? Any socials or any other projects?
Well, you can find me just about everywhere on social. I'm Bowling with the Fef. It's a group on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram, even Blue Sky.
Man, you went on Blue Sky?
Not for any political reasons, but just another place to get it out there. I'm on all those social platforms. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say the production company is called Visionary Video Hub. It does have a page dedicated to Bowling with the Fef on it. I just appreciate the opportunity. And no, the timing worked out great because I'm actually not doing a show this week. I don't typically do one the week either before or after I do a tournament live stream, and we had one of those over the weekend. So I'd just be sitting here anyway. Like I said, Mrs. Fef went out to the wine bar with her buddies, and it's great to chop it up with you guys. I'm really glad you had me on, and anytime you need someone, please don't hesitate to call.
We may be looking for another co-host because one of these two guys probably isn't going to work out in the future. So
Mason Rudolph will come and kick everyone's ass. Don't worry.
I love that Henry said Fef's making Junior sit and stew in the juices. I'm really gonna say goodbye. That's the comment of the night for me.
That is the comment of the night. Well, we might just wrap it up right now. Usually I'll kick the guest out, but he's a pro as well. Guys, we appreciate everybody listening and watching here on YouTube and our audio feeds. You can find us on any podcast platform. I'm not going to ask Ocho if he's found any podcasts lately or where he can find them because he's lazy and probably hasn't looked for them in a while. So you can literally find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, all the major podcast apps, and right here on YouTube, Straight Up 5 Podcasts. We'll be back next week for another edition of Straight Up 5 with that guy down there and maybe that guy. I don't know. Maybe it'll be that guy in the corner. I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here